Good evening, I'm Grayson Holt.
And I'm Jake Helton. Hurricane Milton has weakened into a Category 4 storm as it barrels towards the Florida Peninsula. The National Hurricanes official forecast calls for Milton to continue to lose some strength throughout the day, but it will remain a major hurricane when it makes landfall on Florida's Gulf Coast overnight. Damaging winds, life-threatening storm surges, and heavy rainfall will extend well outside the forecast. The NHC says Milton has the potential to be one of the most destructive hurricanes on record for West Central Florida. The state is already feeling the storm's outer bands, which could bring tornadoes and waterspouts.
2 youth football coaches were injured in a post-game shooting at Cardinal Ritter. Trayvon Smith of the Uindy Firehawks and James Beverly of Next Elite 11U were the 2 men shot. IMPD says the shooting occurred after an argument involving a group of people that were threatening the lives of players and parents at the game. While there were no fatalities, Smith is in recovery after being shot in the leg.
IMPD is investigating a homicide following the discovery of a man's body earlier this week on Indy's north side. Officers were called to Wickfield Way around 2 a.m. to investigate a reported death at a home, where they found 24-year-old Caleb Joseph Aubrey with injuries that pointed to trauma. Anyone with information regarding this incident is urged to contact the IMPD Detective James Hurt.
IMPD is investigating a murder-suicide on Indy's east side. Shortly after 7 p.m., a man and a woman were found dead in a home. IMPD said while heading to the scene, a man had shot a woman and then himself. The woman, identified as 47-year-old Claudia Perez Lopez, died at the hospital. Her death was ruled as a homicide. Police also found that the man who shot her was 51-year-old Perez Mendez. This shooting marks the 5th murder-suicide case in Indianapolis this year.
Gary police are getting help from the FBI in a search for a missing 13-year-old girl. Gary police say Janiyah McMichael was last seen Monday, August 11th. Federal agents carried out a search warrant Saturday at a home where Janiyah stayed.
A former Fishers Reserve police officer has been charged with multiple felonies, including rape. Marcus Gregory Sparks Jr., 33, is charged with 3 counts of rape, 2 counts of domestic battery, criminal confinement, intimidation, and strangulation, after what police called a violent incident with a woman he met in rehab. It happened late last month when police were called to a domestic disturbance at an Airbnb. Police say when Sparks opened the door, he was intoxicated with a blood alcohol content 4 times the legal limit. The victim told police that Sparks choked her until she lost consciousness, assaulted her with a spatula, and threatened to kill her.
Coming up, meteorologist Tatum McCauley with your weekly weather update.
We'll leave it to our actual athletes. Watch Uindy TV's live sports broadcast on GLVCSN and YouTube.
The first time I went to Lucas Oil was last year for the 6A Center Grove versus Carroll State High School football game. And I walk in this time thinking I know what's going on, thinking I know what's going to happen. And if I were to say that Lucas Oil lost any effect on you, just the pure vastness that it hits you when you walk in, I'd be wrong. And Jace put it perfectly. He walked in and said, wow. This is the dream, and it is, because the people that we look up to listen to a high school football game of the week on WICR HD3 Uindy Radio.
Hello, I'm your meteorologist Tatum McCauley, and here in Indianapolis, we are slowly creeping into that fall level we all love. Starting with our current weather, we are at 75 degrees and sunny, and as we go into tonight, we drop down to 60 degrees, but it's going to be cloudy. And here for this weekend, you can expect 77 degrees with a low of 46. But don't worry, because it's going to be sunny skies. But going into Saturday, it's going to be cloudy with 76 degrees and a low of 54. Going into Sunday, you got a high of 71 and a low of 52. But again, partly cloudy, but sunny skies, though. It's going to be good. But to kick off the weather, the week, you can expect 59 degrees and 43 with sunny skies. That's all I have for weather for this weekend. And tonight, back to the news with Jake and Grayson.
Thank you, Tatum. IMPD is investigating what they believe to be an attempted robbery after a car crashed into a outside business. Police say the accident happened at a pawn shop near East Street and Madison Avenue. Police believe the people in the car were attempting to rob the store before fleeing the scene in another vehicle.
A U.S. Postal Service worker faces charges after a reported mail theft. 29-year-old Justin Crane has been sentenced to 180 days of home detention and 3 years of probation after stealing around $5,000 over the past several months. He pled guilty earlier this week.
I-65 southbound to downtown will be completely closed for 16 days straight starting on October 18th, as Swifties will be visiting Indianapolis soon. The closure will affect the thousands of Swifties coming to downtown on November 1st, 2nd, and the 3rd. This is expected to cause a massive crowd of over 70,000 people. Drivers will be forced to exit at West Street and funneled onto downtown city streets.
The first Indiana gubernatorial debate was last week, and candidates Jennifer McCormick and Mike Braun clashed over each other's records and political ads. Braun defended his ad, which contained a digitally altered image, saying the issue was quickly corrected. McCormick criticized Braun for misleading the public and addressed controversial comments from Braun's running mate, calling them extreme. Both candidates also discussed abortion, wages, and marijuana. Braun backed Indiana's abortion ban with exceptions, while McCormick supported Roe v. Wade standards. They agreed on considering medical marijuana, but had different views on broader legalization.
Vice President Kamala Harris appeared on the Call Her Daddy podcast this week, leaving some fans fumbling. The podcast left viewers feeling like it was propaganda. The host of the podcast, Alex Cooper, got backlash on how she turned her show political. One user commented, "One of my favorite podcasts, and now I'll never listen again. Unbelievable." A few podcast fans also didn't like that Cooper didn't address other matters with Harris during the interview, such as illegal immigration and the Biden-Harris administration's response to Hurricane Helene's devastation.
Riley Hospital for Children is celebrating 100 years of dedicated pediatric care and research. Doctors, nurses, and staff gathered to honor this significant milestone. Dennis Murphy, president and CEO of IU Health, highlighted the hospital's commitment to improving the health in Indiana, saying this has been a century of serving Hoosiers and our team takes pride in the mission. New information regarding Hurricane Milton with meteorologist Tatum McCauley up next.
Good morning, Greyhounds, and welcome back to your Wednesday show. We have some very exciting things to talk about with our very special guest.
So what do you find unique about Uindy, and what kind of pulled you here?
What are you doing?
Watching Good Morning Greyhounds every Wednesday morning at 8 a.m.
Another hurricane is set to hit Florida yet again. Hurricane Milton has steadily decreased back down to a Category 4 storm in just under 24 hours, with 160 mile-an-hour winds and about 715 miles southwest of Tampa. Milton is expected to weaken before landfall, with current models predicting it to hit near Tampa as a Category 3. Only 4 hurricanes have hit the U.S. as a Category 4. Milton likely won't stay Category 4 as winds break off in cooler waters, weakening it. Forecasters warn of an 8 to 12 storm surge and up to 5 to 10 inches in mainland areas, but as much as 15 inches in other places. As Hurricane Milton continues to head for Florida, we will keep you updated on our new developments. More news up next.
In the heart of Indianapolis, our main mission is to keep you informed, bringing you local and national news. With the upcoming presidential election, there's no better time than now to tune in. But the most important part is you. This is Uindy TV News.
After protecting the state of Indiana and his partner Walter Butt for 8 years, Alpachi is retiring. During his time, Canine Alpachi helped seize almost 1,000 pounds of illegal drugs. He even took a bullet in his neck for his handler in 2017, saving his life. Officer Butt says that his time with Alpachi is the most rewarding thing he has ever done. Alpachi celebrated his retirement with his last 1042 and boxes of tennis balls. He now gets to live the rest of his life relaxing in the comfort of Butt's home.
Are you ready for a thrill? You're in luck. Indy's Scream Park is back for its 15th season. This year, the park will feature 6 attractions, including 3 indoor and 2 outdoor attractions. Indy Scream Park is taking a new approach to haunted attractions. Instead of a haunted house walkthrough, they are immersing the guest. Guests can also choose to be jumped at or grabbed, adding an extra layer of thrill. Harmison, an attraction specialist at Indy Scream Park, explains that instead of just walking through the show, you can become a part of it.
Hoosiers will honor a long-standing Mexican holiday, Dia de los Muertos, or Day of the Dead, over 3 days next month at the Indiana State Capitol. Festival goers can look forward to a variety of traditional offerings, including Pan de Muerto, which is a special bread, authentic Mexican hot chocolate, and an educational short film presented by Latino film dreamers. The event will also feature community testimonials and vibrant displays. The celebration is scheduled for November 1st through November 3rd and aims to showcase culture, tradition, and remembrance. Thank you for tuning in to Uindy TV News.
Be sure to check out all other Uindy productions on Uindy TV.